Good morning, my fellow Papua New Guineans. Today I want to talk about where we are as a nation and what are some things that we can do to improve the state of the nation going forward. Next year will be our 50th Jubilee. It's going to be an exciting year, but it depends on us, the people of the nation, and the actions that we take. Because the future depends on what we do today as individuals. So our nation is going through a very challenging time. We have huge economic debt. Our education system is not up to where it needs to be. We'll be removing grade 8 and grade 10 in the curriculum. The education system, the quality is declining. Our hospitals are run down. That's the reality. And the services that we are getting are not up to speed or up to where it needs to be. And also, we're having a huge inflationary problem in the nation. Our kina is losing its value, and the ordinary Papua New Guineans are struggling. And that's the reality. Amidst what the government is saying, we are struggling as a nation. And it comes down to leadership. John Maxwell said it rightly, and he said everything rises and falls on leadership. Let me give an example. A pilot. Okay, when we get on the plane, we are going to a destination. We're going to a place. But the person that is in charge when we are in the air is the pilot. Our life is in the hands of the pilot. The pilot has the power in his hands. So if the plane crashes or malfunctions in the air, then it'll boil down to the experience and the expertise of the pilot. If the pilot is well experienced and trained to handle the situation, he will take us through and land us safely. And at least we will be safe. But if the pilot is inexperienced, and when we go through turbulence and the plane encounters an issue, all of us, it doesn't matter whether you have 5 degrees or you're a doctor or whatever PhD, whatever qualification, or whoever you are, even the Prime Minister in the plane and the members, their life will depend on the pilot, because the pilot is the one that is in control and in charge when we are in the air. And that is a fact. Now, when we look at any nation, let's look at PNG for example. The Prime Minister is in charge for the livelihood of everyone in the nation. Every citizen in the nation depends on the Prime Minister and the decisions that he makes. Okay, so the Prime Minister has the last say. Now the Bible says, where the righteous rule, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people mourn. Okay, so we have come through very challenging times over the years, and now we are at the crossroad. We are at the place where we are struggling. Okay, so it's reflected in the crisis that we are experiencing in the nation. So we are going backwards. Now the key moment for us, if if we see that this nation is not going right, and based on my own personal observation and outlook, I don't see this nation where it needs to be currently and presently. But we have the power to change that in the future. And it comes down to 2027 elections. The elections, we have the power to decide who is going to pilot this nation. Okay, so if we're not happy with the current Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, then we have the power to elect right leaders into power who we believe will change the course of this nation. So I want to encourage and recommend to all Papua New Guineans to have an eye on the 2027 election and to vote for righteous leaders. Okay, the more righteous leaders we have in power, the more we can change the course of this nation. The more chances we have to elect a right leader that will lead us into prosperity. So the power is in your hands, the power is in my hands. We need to vote for righteous leaders in 2027. If we don't, we will continue to recycle the problems that we are facing. Because it takes a person to change the trajectory and course of a nation. Great leaders such as Nelson Mandela changed the course of an entire nation, South Africa, and changed the course of the entire world. Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, some of the great leaders of our time stood up for what they believed in, and they raised their hand, they sacrificed their very life, and they saw change at the highest level. Now it's up to you and me. Are we willing to raise our hand? Or we just want to complain, we just want to talk negativity about our nation and do nothing about it? So I am challenging every person. If you want to stand, if you feel that God has called you to stand up in 2027 elections, stand up for it. Because the country needs you, we need you if we're going to change this nation. So it's togetherness that we will build this nation again. So I want to encourage again all of us, let us look to the future and let us create a path that will lead us into abundance and prosperity. We have huge potential, we have huge resources, but I believe our country has been mismanaged over the years. So we need the right leaders to go in power and then manage our resources rightly. So I hope this message inspires you, puts you in perspective as we look towards the future. Amidst our struggles and our challenges, let's look towards the future. And I like this quote. I'm not sure who said it, but it says, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So if we're going to create the future that we desire, we have to create it today. Through our actions, through our words. So thank you all for listening, and God bless.